How's it going, guys? It's Henry, and in this video what I want to talk about is where I see a lot of people going wrong in terms of how they're running their dropshipping store and how you actually want to run your dropshipping store on a daily basis. So a bit of context, this is something that I see in my private group and I see a lot of people doing when trying to start up a dropshipping business, or even people who've had a dropshipping business for a while and not properly tracking their expenses and their profits properly on a daily basis. So this is something that I think is extremely important, because if you're not tracking things on a daily basis, you actually don't have a business, in my opinion. You don't know how much money you're bringing in, and you can't call that a business. So a lot of people have seen it's possible to make money with a dropshipping site. They might see that it is indeed possible and have tried to try their hands at it. But if you aren't properly tracking these things, you can't improve, you can't see where you're going wrong with the business, and you can't actually be in it for the long haul. So for all of you watching, for any of you watching, I assume you do want to be in your dropshipping or in a dropshipping business for the long haul, or you do just want to have the biggest chance of actually being successful with it. So you do need to track your profits and track your expenses on a daily basis. So when you see these screenshots or your Shopify dashboard, that is not your how much the store is making. That is, don't be blinded. I don't want you to be blinded by just the screenshots that you see on from the Shopify dashboard, or when you look at your Shopify dashboard and you see, okay, I've made X amount of sales, $100 of sales in a day. Don't be blinded by thinking this is how much your business is actually making. And I hope a lot of you are not making that mistake, because obviously as soon as you start trying to start a dropshipping venture, try and start a dropshipping business, you are incurring costs. So you've got to take in all those costs into account to see properly and have a proper picture of what your business is doing, what your dropshipping store is doing. So what I would recommend you do is pull up a Google spreadsheet, pull up a Google or Excel or whatever you use. I personally use Google Sheets, and you want to, on a daily basis, yes, every single day, you want to make sure you're tracking not just the sales that are coming in from your store, not just the amount of orders, but also the cost that you're incurring for your store every single day. So there's two ways you can go about it. You can also just do it. You can do it in a very simple way. You can do it in a more complex way. So the simple way you can track your expenses is pull up a Google Sheets, as I said, and put the date in. So take today. Today is July 13th, I believe. Put the date in, and then you want to start a column with the amount of orders you have. So say July 13th, I bring in 10 orders. I have 10 orders on my store on July 13th. That correlates to $100 worth of sales. That's how much money I brought in. That's the revenue. So $100 revenue for my store on that day. And then now is the important part. You want to make sure you see how much cost you also incurring on that particular day. Don't just take that $100 figure and think, oh, my store's made $100, perfect. No, you're going to lose money very quickly if you do it that way. So you want to have that $100, and then on the next column, take it how much it's costing you to maybe source a product from AliExpress or manufacture the product and ship it to the customer. So say I source products from AliExpress and ship it to all my customers for that day for $50. That's the cost I've incurred on the product and shipping on that day. So we have $50 in the next column. And then say I spent $20 on ads. So we'll have ads in the next column, of course. So I spent $20 of ads, and then the fees for Shopify, or the payment processor fees that I've incurred on that day, is $5. So you want to have fees in the next column. And then you take all those costs and subtract it from the first $100 figure that you did have. So I believe, off the top of my head, the total cost might come to about $75. So say we take that from the $100, we've actually made about $20 profit on that day. So my profit for July 13th is not the $100, but my profit is the $25. So you want to make sure you calculate that properly. You know your store's actually made $25 profit today, perfect. And then you want to track that every single day for the month up until the end of the month. And then at the end of the month, you can properly see, okay, my store has brought in X amount of dollars, or my store is actually making a loss, and there's no doubt what the status is of your store at that minute. You don't want to leave anything to guesswork. If you do, I don't think you have the biggest chance of success with your store. So you want to make sure you're tracking these things properly. And if you want to do it even more complex way, which is what I do, is I actually track not just the Facebook ads, fees, and so on. I don't just lump it all together. I actually break down how much I spend per day on my Instagram influencers, how much I spend on reaching out to people, influencers on other platforms. So say I have a column for Facebook ads, I have a column for retargeting ads, I have a column for Instagram influencers, and so on. So that is the way I do it. And then I got somebody to help me set it up, because numbers is not my strong point, but I calculate my gross profit on my product every single day, and then I take away all my expenses and calculate the net profit, how much I've actually made on that day. So basically, whichever way you choose, you definitely just want to make sure you're tracking your, not just your profits on a daily basis, but also your expenses that you're incurring on your store, to properly be able to see the progress with your stores. So even if you just started, even if you haven't made any sales, but you've started advertising already on your store, you do want to make sure you're tracking all these things, tracking how much expenses you're incurring, how much money you're actually bringing in, if any. If not, you still do want to track, as I said, how much cost you're incurring, so you know on a weekly basis how much you spend, on a daily basis how much you're spending, on a monthly basis how much your store has been spending. Even in the testing phase, even when you're not making money, you want to make sure you're tracking all these things. So anyone watching this who wants to start in dropshipping, make sure you treat it as an actual business. That's the point of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like or leave me a comment, because it helps the channel out a great deal. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you do have, or just leave me a like to give me an ego boost. We all need an ego boost at times. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video, all jokes aside, and I will see you tomorrow for more videos on Facebook marketing, more videos on marketing in general, and take care, guys.